This is Future Fork, a show that explores the world of food and the decisions we can make today that will shape our future. On the show, you'll hear from innovators in the food space. We'll have disruptive conversations with people from around the globe who are taking the lead on topics like food sustainability, ending world hunger, food security, and so much more. I'm your host, Paul Newnham. In today's episode of Future Fork, we're doing something a little bit different. Coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya, we're talking to 5 impressive young agri-preneurs who are pioneering innovative solutions, transforming agriculture, and empowering smallholder farmers. In the chat, you'll hear each of them share what inspired their journey. They'll discuss the challenges they're facing, and we'll talk about the resilient future they're helping to build through science. Let's get into it. Everyone, welcome to the show. Great to have you with us.
Great to be here. Thank you.
I want to start with a really quick response from each of you. So I wanted to have one sentence each, but what keeps you interested or motivated to be involved in agriculture today?
So I'm very passionate about smallholder farmers, but I'm also a really big science nerd. So I've always felt that there could be an integration where all the technologies and the science research should benefit the people that need it the most, as opposed to being stacked on shelves. So that gives me motivation.
Awesome.
For me, it's the hope that someday, somehow, there'll be no hunger in the entire world. That means the entire agricultural ecosystem will be working together perfectly, farmers earning good. That hope keeps me going.
Some of our audience might not know or maybe not working on some of these issues. And so what is a smallholder farmer?
So typically a smallholder farmer cultivates food on a smaller piece of land, so between up to 5 acres of land. And most of them are growing food for subsistence and selling to the local market. They do not grow using very large inputs, and they use their farms as their system of supporting their households.
I think also they do mixed farming. They do a bit of subsistence farming. They grow maize, beans, and other crops just for their domestic use, but also do a bit of cash crops on the side just for sale as well. So they try to do all this just to juggle in between.
And in Kenya, is there a lot of smallholder farmers? Is that
We have about 8 million smallholder farmers in
8
Kenya.
million? How many people are in Kenya?
About 50 million.
Okay. So it's a
Yeah.
big chunk is smallholder farmers.
Yes, and then also in sub-Saharan Africa, over 75% of agriculture is done by smallholder farmers.
So I want to understand a little bit about the work that you guys do. It's super exciting. You've each got unique focus and companies. So let's start. Allan, do you want to tell us a little bit about your work and what you do?
So my company is called FarmIT. We are in the business of providing smallholder farmers with their precision advisory services. And also we also connect them to markets. Our different farm tools have, one of the farm tools that we use is called Listra. Listra is more for TikTok for farmers, where farmers can post their videos, they can post their pictures, and then the other farmers in the same platform can comment, can share, or they can emulate those success stories. We also do what we call Sensei. Sensei is our other platform. For Sensei, it's a plant and disease detection tool, where farmers can take a picture of the disease or pest that they have, and then the system will automatically analyze that disease, and then to give them the recommendations, both organic and chemical, and then to go further and recommend them to the nearest agrovet. The other tool we have is called the crop mapping tool, where we're using different GIS systems. We're using soil data systems just to provide a kind of a holistic advisory to smallholder farmers on real-time insights on what they're supposed to do on their farms. We also do it a bit of multilingual in nature, so that if a farmer doesn't understand English, then he's able to change it into its own native language, or even he can just dial and listen to it. So we also do a text-to-speech conversion. And then the last bit is what we call a marketplace, where farmers, after harvesting their produce, they're able to upload pictures of their produce, and then the buyers in our platform can connect with them directly.
How did you get into that, Allan?
This comes from a background where I used to work previously with a seed company. And during that enjoyable time, I used to see farmers complaining over and over again. Let's say he's buying a hybrid variety of seed that is very expensive. He's using a lot of money on the inputs, but he wasn't getting the same, he was getting the same result. There was no growth to these farmers. So I said, let me start doing a bit of advisories. So what I did, I started with basic SMSs, but now I'm progressing towards more sophisticated and more precise knowledge for farmers.
Josephine, tell us a little bit about your work.
I am co-founder for Radava Mercantile. We eliminate post-harvest losses for smallholder farmers who are dealing with the grains and cereals. So we provide them with access to well-equipped warehouses where they can hold on to their produce until it fetches good prices in the market. And also we give them the ability of using that stored produce to access credit like loans from lending institutions. And also we help them to find good markets for their produce. And as an additional service, we have a shop to sell agricultural inputs for farmers.
So post-harvest losses, for people that aren't aware, is after the farmer harvests the crop, they store it somewhere. Is this a problem in Kenya where farmers will lose some of that crop?
Yeah, it's mostly that the farmers, after the harvest season, they rush to the market to sell their produce. But at that time, every other farmer is harvesting. So the market is flooded with similar produce, which causes the prices to go down and the returns for the farmer is very low. And also in our country and in most places, it's a seasonal thing. So if you sell all your produce, there's going to be like hunger in the coming months. So storing it also prevents that.
Yeah. What are the biggest threats to spoiling the produce? So is it pests? Is it mold? Like what happens to the produce that makes it go bad?
It's a combination of many things. One is how you store it. So currently, most of the farmers store it in their houses at maybe a corner of their house or maybe a granary outside, but the conditions are not optimal to allow for longevity. So the issue of aflatoxin, which contaminates especially grains, making it unsafe for consumption. And also there's pests and diseases. So for our storage, it's like a standard certified warehouse where it has optimal condition for storing. And also we store them in advanced bag called jute bag. It's different from other kind of bags. So it enhances the longevity of the grains. And also there's a continuous checking of the condition of the produce.
I think often people forget that farmers are business people. And this is about profit because you're protecting the grain to then be able to go to the best price at market rather than the cheapest price when everyone is selling. So I think it's really key. And I think remembering that farmers are business people is very important for people when they ask how to support farmers, to think about farmers. Let me bring Priscilla, you in to tell us a little bit about your work.
So my company is called Rhea. We are a soil health management company. We're based out of Nairobi, currently have operations in Kenya and Tanzania. We manufacture devices that allow farmers to get on-site soil testing done at their farm level. We analyze for 7 parameters that make up a basic soil analysis. We also have recommendation software that utilizes the data from the devices that then provide recommendations on optimal fertilizer use. The recommendations would be on the type of fertilizer they should use, the rate and ratio of application. We also have a pH adjustment schedule that allows them to understand if they need to perform liming and how much and for how long. And we also provide 3 crop recommendations based off the specific region they're in, the season they're planting, and their soil data as well. We lease out our devices to agents that are then able to conduct soil analysis at the most local level, in a way decentralizing soil analysis from the fixed labs to more mobile and more accessible, especially for the smallholder farmer. With our devices and recommendation generation, we've been able to cut down the time it takes for soil analysis from about 14 days before they can conduct their soil test and receive results to just under 15 minutes.
Time is money. And so that's absolutely amazing to get that time down. But also this information is helpful. I mean, soil is so important for a farmer. It's almost where their wealth is in many ways. So this also enables them to make precision adjustments. So tell us a little bit about how are farmers responding to this from your view?
Taking care of soil health is very important. I think when you think about agriculture, you have to think from the soil up. So over the years, I think we've had so many strategies that come from the seed up. So we have hybrid seeds, and then we have how to get the seeds closer to the farmer. But with time and with the adverse changes in the climate, we're having more stress in the production cycle. And this then stems from the soil level and then all the way up to harvesting and post-harvest. So for most of our farmers, what we've done is we've invested a lot in soil health management trainings and in helping farmers, especially the smallholder farmer, understand the importance of maintaining and increasing their soil fertility. And we've been able to do this through farmer trainings. We've also built an advisory chatbot that they can access through their WhatsApp that allows them to ask questions at any time and self-learn for free on the platform. It also allows them, once they receive a recommendation, they can upload it into the WhatsApp chat and ask questions as though you were having a consultation with an agronomist. And we've seen that by having these key strategies in how we work with farmers and personalize each and every farmer's experience, we're having more uptake in terms of soil testing services, but more so, we're having better soil health management practices at the farm level.
We've talked a little bit about agri-tech and AI. I guess AI is the new thing everyone's talking about, everyone's getting into. Where do we see the biggest impact for smallholder farmers on the continent from that perspective?
I think AI plays a very crucial role in terms of advisories to farmers. It is bridging that gap because normally or traditionally, smallholder farmers rely on extension field agents. I mean, people who are employed by government to go to the farms, to each farm and really provide recommendations. But the ratio is a bit too high. We're talking about one extension agent to 5,000 smallholder farmers as recommended to 1 to 400 by Food and Agriculture Organization. So there's a gap in terms of extension agent. So digital extension services are a very crucial role in the next decade. But AI will also be fundamental in terms of improving these digital extension advisories. I mean, provide more clear messages to the farmers. I mean, make those advisories more simpler to the farmers, and AI will be reducing this gap. The other element is also in terms of forecasting, just helping farmers to have a clear vision of what, let's say, their harvest will look like in the next coming 3 months. And we are trying to use most of our indices to do a bit of forecasting in terms of yield prediction as well. So that is a very clear background to them. We also use AI also in terms of providing recommendations on chemical use, on which chemicals that they're supposed to use. I mean, this one also reduces on their wastages and also improves efficiency.
For us, what I've seen mostly from my line of work is how tech enlarges the market for farmers. So like, for example, for us, when the farmers bring their grains for storage, we issue them with a warehouse receipt, which now we help them to sell digitally. So we have a platform where it lists the receipt. Anybody, anywhere in the country who needs it can see it. Yeah, so I've seen the aspect of enlarging the market for farmers. And also, like you said, the artificial intelligence helps farmers in forecasting. On our end, we use it to forecast, predict prices based on the past trends. So we have data on prices of different crops like maize, beans from past years. And depending on trend, AI helps us to analyze and possibly predict the harvest for the potential income or the prices for their harvest, so they know what to expect. If you sell it in April, this is the price you're likely to get for your bag of maize. If you sell it in August, this is the price, so they know the optimal times to sell their crops.
That's really good. Priscilla, I'm going to ask you, you've been working a little bit on data and the access to data. So why do you think data is so important for farmers? Like, what's the critical role there and how does it fill a gap?
So over the years, we've had a lot of data collected on farming systems. And a lot of this research is really focused on different improvement strategies to increase yield, to better manage farms. But then we find that after specific studies are done, the data is put in really pretty reports and put on a shelf. But then all this data that is collected from these smallholder farmers never goes back to the smallholder farmers. So it will influence policy, but we do understand that there's also a leakage in policy. So even the benefits that they expect to get, they may not get. So what we've done with data is we've collected all this research data that has been collected over the years and over different periods of time. And now we've put it in a model that makes it actionable for the farmers now. Because what we find with this data, if the farmers are not able to use it and change some of the key practices that they should at this level, then it will just keep making the climatic or environmental situation worse. And then it becomes worse for them economically and also in terms of food security. So when we think about the different aspects of data, so not just scientific data, because I have a bias, but also in terms of market data and everything else, I think the utilization of data now is making it easier to empower smallholder farmers in an all-round type of way, from an environmental perspective to a yield perspective to a market perspective, and to what Josephine is talking about, trading, forex trading for maize. So it's interesting in that way.
What's one of the challenges that you're seeing at the moment from a data technology? Is there a gap at the moment that you're struggling with?
When you're using machine learning, one of the biggest challenges that we're facing currently right now with our ecosystem is the fragmentation of the data and also the sparsity of the data. So the data is very fragmented and sparse, and then also different data has been collected for very different objective projects. So there's no uniformity, either timelines of collection or in the purpose of the collection and the specific parameters analyzed. So when it comes to utilizing the data, we have so many gaps. So we are forced to either have larger data sets than we would ideally, but then at the same time, even getting the data sets becomes a problem because most of them are not open access. So we do find like some of the organizations that have conducted a lot of research then retain the data and they don't make the data available to potentially maybe other scientists or entrepreneurs in the space that could then utilize that data to make it more actionable and beneficial to the farmers with whom the data was made for.
I think also on matters policy for data, when we want to get access to data, let's say from farmers, let's say from other agricultural stakeholders, there are a lot of laws that are coming in that actually are hindering entrepreneurs from getting this data. Now they're talking about some policies on really how to access this data. Before you actually talk to the customer, you need to get consent from the customers or from the farmers, from other stakeholders. So there are a lot of hurdles that are being created, especially now when we talk about using AI. Priscilla has also talked about data gaps when it comes to the different models that we create when we want to create our AI service tools. So we have a bit of models that we are trying to refine these models, and it becomes a bit tricky when you still don't have a large kind of data set to really train your models so they can give farmers more precise actions. Yeah, so I think those are the two major areas.
I mean, I think that's always a challenge because there's also a catch up with new technologies where the policies are not there to support and so can sometimes be taken in different directions. Let's talk a little bit about successes. You guys are all doing amazing work. What's something that you're really proud of since you started working with smallholder farmers?
The success also is seeing increase in the earnings of farmers by 30% for those who opted to use the storage, our services. But the one which I'm most proud of personally is a bit history. Like Kenya is coming up with the commodity exchange. It's presently underway. And for the commodity exchange to work, it needs the warehouse receipt system. So somehow we were like, because of the work we do, you were appointed to sit in the steering committee to oversee that the project is implemented. So first, it's a big win. It means there's something we are doing right. And also we are making history because this will be the first commodity exchange in the country. So we are making history behind the scenes. So I feel proud of that and the potential impact it will have on the farmers in the country and across the region.
So it's in a similar line. So when we started out in 2022, the soil health conversation was almost non-existent. So bringing up a topic around soil health and soil fertility management was something that I think people discuss in boardrooms and in research centers and in more higher level organizations. And it wasn't a conversations that actual farmers were having at the farm level. But with time, I think we've seen with different stakeholders coming together, we've seen a better push towards soil health management as a key aspect of farming. And then also after we had last year, the Fertilizer and Soil Health Summit, and a key focus being on soil health improvement as a whole, as opposed to having a push on utilization of chemical fertilizers, and then a conversation around, instead of pushing for more chemical fertilizer, pushing for optimum use of chemical fertilizers, which will ensure that, yes, we are going to achieve our goals for yield production, but we're also taking care of our environment. At a company level, one of the greatest wins that we've had is seeing some of the farmers that we started out with on this journey actually experience the impact of soil health management and improvement in their soil fertility status. We've seen farmers, we do have impact tracking methods, and we've seen farmers report increase in yield that can be directly correlated to having utilized some of the recommendations that we provide. And then over time, on a very personal company level, as a win, we have iterated 3 times in terms of our devices to ensure that we can increase on the accuracy level of our devices, but also ensure that we can make a device. So we make them in Kenya, and we can make a device that is affordable enough to cater to the smallest of the smallholder farmers, but at the same time have the functionality to cater to an even large-scale farmer. And this year, we have our product actually on the shelf. So we've been working throughout with different prototypes, but now we have our on-shelf product that is accessible, and other agribusinesses and agronomists can now purchase the devices and set up their mini soil testing centers.
For us, I think the greatest achievement as a company was just establishing the super app. I mean, we have also tried a lot of different items, and through the different pivots that we've had, we have managed to have something that really farmers are actually using now. This is based on their continuous feedback. Like, look, I want you to improve on this area, to improve on this tool, so that you can have a complete set of an app that really farmers can use. The other success that we see is also the adoption rate, because you see most smallholder farmers used to rely on traditional ways of farming, but now they are really embracing these digital farming services. And we are seeing that rate going up continuously. And for us, I think that's a very great plus. The other issue that we also want to say is a success is also on the issue of reducing wastages from farmers. I mean, reduce wastages of chemical inputs, I mean, of buying high input costs. I mean, just reducing that wastages. And then from those wastages, if they use our advisories, there's an increase in yield. And definitely when you have an increase in yield, it will transform into increased profits. I mean, better money in their pockets. So we see also a lot of economic freedom from the farmers. I mean, now you see a farmer is able to take the kids to school, is able to get better healthcare, have good food, put on good clothes, all because of these precision advisory services. So for us, we want to really document the entire process and see, is the farmer's well-being being improved from our services? So that's something that we really value and we really cherish. And we have seen a success, most of the success stories about farmers having more economic autonomy in terms of what they are doing.
I mean, we're talking during CGIAR Science Week and we're here at AGRA. Tell us a little bit about why are groups like CGIAR, AGRA, why do you engage with these kinds of communities and networks? How do they assist you in the work that you're doing, or what does that look like?
These I find them very good because, like, for example, AGRA, that comes with these programs, it's vast. So whenever I'm down as an entrepreneur in agriculture or I'm facing something that I've never seen before, I think that's every day. I have a community I can lean on and rely to. And also, most of them already have their own networks, like ICRAF, also AGRA, you have your own networks in a number of countries. So let's say, for example, if I want to expand to another country, I already have someone I know can assist me, these organizations, yeah.
So yesterday at the Science Week, I was having a conversation that really speaks to this question. And it's really directly tied to them being repositories of information. So over the years, there have been organizations that have tracked data, that have worked directly with farmers. So if you're building a solution for smallholder farmers, the go-to for what actually can work, what is needed, what is urgent, and what to focus on primarily. And that's something that we've been able to achieve together with AGRA. AGRA has a fellowship. It's a fellowship program that empowers young entrepreneurs in the agricultural space. And through this fellowship, you're able to tailor your proposition and tailor your product to meet the needs of the smallholder farmers, but generally of other farmers in Africa as a whole, such that when your solution goes to market and when you're already in market, you've already gathered enough information that will help you now serve the market better and then serve the market where it needs. So Allan mentioned that agriculture contributes the highest to the GDP, right? And if you're able to improve on the livelihoods of the smallholder farmers and improve on their output, then you're contributing to whole economy's GDP and across Africa as well.
I also think the other kind of support that you have gotten from AGRA is financial support. Apart from the grant that we were able to win back in 2022, they have also worked with us, like they were baby stepping us through this entrepreneurship journey. They have given us mentorship. They gave us an opportunity where they were plugging us into different stakeholders, different companies doing similar things with us. They also gave us the financial support. Through the YEGRO grant, we were able to get a bit of financial support to support our businesses as well. So they have been with us through the entire journey.
So in Kenya, we have a word, I think it's become a bit global now, where in Kenya we have a word, it's called harambe. And what it means pulling together. And for you to make an impact in agriculture, you have to pull together all the stakeholders that are concerned with so that you can have the highest impact. So you cannot survive as an island. And having these organizations actually put an extra effort to support entrepreneurs in the space that are solving for these solutions, it means that it will become more sustainable and less organization reliant to support the farming systems.
I wanted to add, these organizations, for example, my experience with AGRA, it's like they allow us to attend events. They create spaces for us. That's very significant because in most events, normally, especially for young people, there's never space to talk about what you do. So they create a space, sometimes even as a panelist, to talk about our solutions, which we normally do not have. Like, for example, AGRA created spaces for young people to go to Kampala for the Kampala CAD CAADP. Yeah, so young people, I have never participated in that one before. So it includes us in dialogues that matter because actually young people are taking a lot of spaces in agriculture and it matters that we should be part of the conversations and the forums and conferences that are happening.
I think with Kampala Declaration, the CADP process, it's the 10-year strategy, which is going to, as young people, this is the future you're going to be playing. And so it's great to be able to participate in that. This is a fascinating conversation. There's lots we could dig into, and it's so great. If you're listening and you have not engaged with the African Food System Forum and the work that AGRA does with young agri-preneurs, you should check it out because we're having just a short conversation here with three of you, but each of you, we could deep dive so far. One thing I like to do in the podcast to close things off is ask a question that's recurring. It's something to relate to because often when we're talking about data and we're talking about soil, we're talking about apps, we're talking about post-harvest losses, we're talking about all these things. But at the heart of it, we're talking about food as well. We're talking about the work that goes into creating food. And so I'm always keen to understand what are people's favorite foods. So I want to ask each of you to tell me what you enjoy eating and why.
So I'm going to go first. I'm a potato person. You could make potatoes in 1,000 different ways, and it would be 1,000 different dishes.
All types of potatoes?
All types of potatoes. In terms of potato varieties, different varieties of potatoes. So we're currently running a pilot study in Kitengela in Kajiado County on different varieties of potatoes that have longer shelf life. So we're working with a company called Nakuru Tubers in terms of how soil health impacts the quality of the potato at a nutritional level on the plate. And I thought it would be a really great project to work on because I love eating potatoes.
For me, I don't know the name. Okay, the closest is githeri, but it's not actually githeri. So you boil maize, you boil beans, and then you boil groundnuts. and you mix them together. That is heavenly. If you've tasted githeri, this one is nothing compared to it. So it's so sweet. The groundnuts is the secret ingredient, and then you cook them together. If you don't have groundnuts, add peanut butter to the githeri,
Amazing.
the maize and beans. It's heaven. I like it because it's also, you can eat it anytime. Breakfast, it works. Lunch hours, it works. Dinner, it works. You can add also with avocado if you want. And also, it's very nutritious and it holds the stomach. Like one meal, you can go for like 8 hours, you don't feel nothing.
For me, I think I just stick with my traditional food that I like so much. It's ugali samaki. I mean, it's corn flour that has been stirred and then it has been prepared. And then we also have fish that has been prepared nicely, especially the tilapia fish. So I like the ugali and tilapia fish.
What's your favorite food?
Me, I'm a big fan of lots of different things, but I'm doing a lot on beans. So I cook a lot of beans, but also pizza is my favorite. I have a pizza oven. I like getting the dough right. I have sourdough and then just different ingredients. But my favorite fruit would be figs at the moment. We have a fig tree and it's full of figs because I live in Australia. It's the season, so it's delicious. Figs there's lots of things you can do with them. But thank you. Well, thank you guys for joining me on the show. It's such a pleasure to engage with you. So I wish you all the best in the work that you're doing. It's really critical, and thank you for doing it and for the conversation today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us as well.
You've been listening to Future Fork, a show that explores the world of food and the decisions we can make today that will shape our future. Future Fork is produced by Disruptive Consulting Solutions and supports the SDG2 Advocacy Hub. For more info, head to the website futureforkpodcast.com. This show was produced with strategy and production support from Wavelength Creative. So you don't miss an episode of Future Fork, make sure to subscribe to or follow the show in your podcast app. And while you're there, leave us a 5-star review. It really helps others find the show. I'm Paul Newnham, and I'll see you in the next episode.